The Crimson Warning Buoys had been floating in the void for 300 years, their automated messages broadcasting in 17 different galactic languages. The message was simple, direct, and had never been ignored until today. Warning: Terran Quarantine Zone. Entry forbidden by Galactic. Council Decree 2387 violators will be terminated. Admiral Zextar of the Hegemony's Third Fleet dismissed. The warning with a chittering laugh that echoed through his command ship's bridge. The insectoid commander's compound eyes gleamed with anticipation as he gazed at the blue-green marble hanging in the darkness ahead. A primitive world holds back the mighty hegemony? He clicked to his subordinates. 3 centuries of fear over a species that hasn't even achieved faster than light travel. Today we claim Earth for the Empire. What Admiral Zextar didn't know was that Jack Morrison was already watching him. From the lunar observation post hidden beneath Mare Tranquillitatis, Jack adjusted the quantum telescope's focus and shook his head grimly. The young human technician's weathered hands moved across holographic controls with practiced efficiency, tracking the approaching fleet of 67 warships. "Daisy, you seeing this?" he called over his shoulder to his partner at the communications array. Daisy Chen looked up from her station, her dark eyes reflecting the glow of multiple screens. The slight woman appeared deceptively fragile, but Jack knew better. Daisy had been Earth's premier xenolinguist before the quarantine, and now she served as humanity's first line of diplomatic defense. "I count 67 ships, Jack. Heavy cruiser class, hegemony design." She paused, her fingers dancing across her console. "I'm picking up their internal communications. They're laughing about us." Jack's jaw tightened. "Still think we should have revealed ourselves decades ago." "The Council made the right choice," Daisy replied, though uncertainty flickered across her features. Humanity needed time to prepare. 300 years ago, Earth had been on the verge of its first interstellar voyage when the Galactic Council had arrived. Not as conquerors, but as protectors. The Council had seen something in humanity that terrified them, a potential that needed to be contained until the galaxy was ready. The quarantine hadn't been a prison. It had been a chrysalis. Admiral Zextar's fleet crossed the outer marker, and immediately, space around them began to shimmer. The Admiral's mandibles clicked in confusion as his sensors detected massive gravitational anomalies appearing from nowhere. "Sir," his tactical officer buzzed nervously. "I'm reading 17. No, 43. The readings don't make sense. There are structures materializing all around us." The structures weren't materializing, they had always been there. Cloaked in quantum fields that bent space-time itself, humanity's true fleet had been waiting. Jack watched through the telescope as Earth's guardian ships phased into visibility, sleek vessels that seemed to swim through space rather than fly through it, their hulls writhing with energy that defied conventional physics. Daisy's communication board lit up with incoming signals. She listened for a moment, then turned to Jack with a mixture of pride and sadness in her eyes. "Captain Sarah Okafor is hailing the hegemony fleet," she reported. "She's offering them one chance to withdraw." Jack nodded grimly. Sarah had been one of the first children born after the quarantine began, raised on stories of the stars humanity could not yet touch, trained from birth to defend a world that had become something more than its origins. Admiral Zextar received the transmission on his bridge, and his compound eyes widened as he processed what he was seeing. The human female on his screen appeared ordinary enough, but behind her, the bridge of her ship pulsed with technology that hurt to look at directly. "I am Captain Sarah Okafor of the Terran Defense Corps," the human said calmly. "You have entered restricted space in violation of Galactic Council Decree 2387. This is your only warning. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The Admiral's chittering laughter returned, though it sounded forced now. "Primitives threatening the hegemony? You cannot even leave your own system." Sarah's smile was cold as stellar void. "Admiral, you're correct that humans haven't left the Sol system in 3 centuries. What you don't understand is why." Around the hegemony fleet, more ships continued to phase into reality. Not dozens, but hundreds. Each one impossible by the standards of known physics. Their designs incorporating principles that made seasoned spacefarers dizzy to contemplate. Jack turned away from the telescope as Daisy's fingers flew across her console, coordinating with Earth's orbital defense platforms. Through the lunar base's transparent aluminum viewports, he could see them now. vast rings of exotic matter that encircled the Earth like metallic auroras, weapons that could reach across star systems without ever firing a shot. The Council knew, didn't they? Jack murmured. That's why the quarantine. They saw what we'd become if given time to develop. Daisy nodded solemnly. 300 years of isolation. 300 years of taking everything we knew about physics and breaking it down to its component atoms. We didn't need to explore the galaxy, Jack. We learned to remake the laws that govern it. On his command ship, Admiral Zexitar watched in growing horror as his weapon system simply stopped working. Not damaged, not destroyed, simply convinced by fields of exotic energy that they had never existed in the first place. His shields flickered out as the fundamental forces holding them together were gently persuaded to flow in different directions. How? He whispered, his voice barely audible over the panicked buzzing of his crew. Captain Okafor's image smiled sadly. You see, Admiral, the Council didn't quarantine us to protect the galaxy from human aggression. They quarantined us because humans have one trait that no other species has ever demonstrated. We refuse to accept that anything is impossible. Given enough time, we don't just break the rules. We convince the universe to write new ones. The hegemony fleet found itself gently but inexorably pushed back beyond the quarantine markers, their ships unharmed but utterly helpless. As they crossed the boundary, their systems came back online, but the memory of their helplessness remained. Jack watched the alien fleet retreat and felt a mixture of satisfaction and melancholy. Humanity had spent 3 centuries becoming something unprecedented in galactic history, not conquerors but gardeners of reality itself. Think they'll be back? He asked. Daisy shook her head, monitoring the retreating ships. I don't think so. But word will spread. The galaxy will know. Earth isn't quarantined because humans are dangerous to others. She turned to look at him, her eyes reflecting the blue glow of their transformed homeworld. We're quarantined because we're dangerous to the very concept of impossibility itself.